of damage. But first I'd like to introduce Megan Milanese from the Lake County Director of Emergency Management to address the county-wide issues.
Hi, good afternoon. Megan Milanese, Lake County Office of Emergency Management Director. As the mayor said, per the incident that occurred last night, we did have no casualties or injuries throughout the community, but we did see over 14 to 19 inches of rain in some areas within a very short period of time, which caused the destruction that you see behind us today. We had significant flash flooding across Lake County, particularly in Mount Dora and Eustis, with multiple vehicle rescues, road closures, and infrastructure impacts. We are in ongoing coordination with our municipal partners as the county, and we are also working with FDOT, FDEP. We have also been working with the Executive Director of the Florida Division of Emergency Management to make sure that we can get recovered as quickly as we can from these impacts from the storm last night. In terms of the folks that were rescued, we did house up to 12 residents until we were able to partner with a local faith-based partner, and they were able to take those folks in until they could get to where they needed to go. In terms of the roadway damage, the stormwater systems were overwhelmed. That caused the erosion and the road washout that you're seeing. Donnelly Street was completely destroyed because of these 19 inches of rain, and it will remain closed until further notice. Wolf Branch was also affected, so that is between Round Lake Road and Britt Road. Round Lake is currently open, but it does have water on it, so please use caution. In terms of our critical infrastructure, wastewater, reclaimed water, and drinking water systems all sustained damage. The entire city of Mount Dora is currently under a boil water notice. It does take about 48 hours for lab testing to confirm that that water is safe again, so please be patient as that process works itself out. Drinking water service is restored citywide, but that boil water notice does remain in effect. Wastewater line options are being assessed. Reclaimed water systems remain offline or limited. There is significant repair time that's associated, mostly due to part shortages and systems damage. So again, we're working with our municipal partners, and they are working very hard to make sure that this gets repaired as soon as possible. Again, we experienced complete washouts and mass system failures due to this heavy rain. Waterman Village had a stormwater breach that contributed to the Donnelly Street collapse. And combined with stormwater flow and downtown, it just got overwhelmed in the drainage network. Sediment analysis actually is showing that Donnelly Street was about 6 to 8 feet underwater at the peak flooding, which caused a lot of this damage. As of right now, because of the street closures, all of the downtown Mount Dora businesses are being affected. We are working with our business partners and again state partners to make sure that we are assisting those businesses to the best of our capabilities. And that is the update that I have to share about the collaboration and coordination we have as an ongoing response to this incident. And now I will introduce Congressman Randy Fine.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me today. Because the government is shut down, I'm not in Washington, I'm home. So when I heard about the issues here in my district, I wanted to come over and see them. And I wanted to tell everyone here that we will be committed to do what we can at the federal level to help with the infrastructure issues. And I'm grateful not only to my staff that is here, but to the FEMA staff that we have coordinated with, all of whom are working unpaid thanks to the Democrats' decision to shut down the government. And I do want people to understand something, because they should be very angry about this. If your home was flooded and you had federal flood insurance, FEMA is closed because Democrats have voted 12 times to keep the federal government closed in order to give free health care to illegal immigrants. So when we talk about the damage that they are doing to regular Americans, we can see it today. So what I would tell people to do is, if you're having a problem with your federal flood insurance because the lines are not open, they are not operating today, the federal flood insurance program is not working, they can call my office and we will try to help them as best we can. Again, with my staff that is working, as all federal government employees are working without being paid. But I want people to know that we are committed to working with Lake County, with the city of Mount Dora, the city of Eustis, to make sure they, once the government reopens, if the Democrats ever choose to reopen it, to make sure that they have the resources that they need to respond to this disaster. And hopefully we can finish this before God rains on us again. Thank you.
All right, as was stated, we had some significant rain damage. You only see one small section behind me. Waterman Village has two basically 40-foot ravines destroyed behind the homes. So we've evacuated close to 20 homes in Waterman Village. Waterman Village took care of their residents, and they have them housed elsewhere. But there are currently a number of homeowners that aren't able to return to their homes safely until we get the bank stabilized. That's 5 feet, basically 5 feet behind their houses, drops off 40 feet. It's all wet, and so it's continuing erosion. Over here on Old Eustis Road, we have a washout. The Florida Department of Emergency Management is on site. They've been getting drone pictures, trying to assess all the damage. We're going to be able to repair what we can quickly, but obviously, looking behind me, this is not going to be open anytime soon. We kind of, in Mount Dora, we have all of our hills, which is a very different thing that other people, because all our water just flows in one direction downhill. And that's what you see with these washouts. Our topography is very different than most of Florida, so we have problems that they saw in the mountains with the other hurricanes, that massive amount of water. So luckily no one was injured, and we're here today to answer any questions you have about it. But you know, we will be working hard going forward trying to fix the damage, but it's going to take state effort and county effort and other things. So I'll take any questions.
Mayor, can you speak to the timing of this? I mean, we've got the holidays coming up, and this is one of the main thoroughfares heading into downtown.
It will not be open for Christmas. I can almost guarantee that. It's a major project. As you see, it almost requires a bridge to get across that ravine now. So it's not something you see in Florida often, but certainly we're looking at a year at least until we get the major infrastructure. So.
And can you speak also, we've had some residents reaching out saying, hey, look, we're concerned about this development on 441 around the curve where the old orange groves were, that may have contributed to this flooding. Would the city have a stance on that?
Well, no, not at this time. Obviously, there's a lot of factors. I told about the Waterman breaches of the stormwater there, so we don't know exactly what all caused it, but there's water coming from every direction, and so we haven't made a full assessment of what contributed to the damage, but that water came from everywhere and took out a road. So,
Mayor, a lot of residents have expressed frustration going back to Wolf Branch. The same section washed out almost a year ago from Hurricane Milton, and now we're dealing with the same section being washed out again. It's a pretty big traffic problem. Where does the city go from here, and what's your message to residents who are feeling that frustration?
Well, that's not a city-maintained road, so it's county-maintained. They're out there now working on it. I was out there to see it. It's a problem that we have constructed roads and houses in floodplains and in you know, it was dry for a while here for a couple of decades, and people started building where they shouldn't. So, but I mean, that's been here since I was a kid. So, you know, it's obviously an event that hasn't occurred in at least how many years? 50 years.
When you say people building where they shouldn't, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, there are, I think the county purchased a home that was constantly flooded during the storms to help with the stormwater management, but that's something to be directed at the county. So.
Did you guys have, the first responders have to rescue people out of the cars stalled out?
Yes, I'll let Chief Hightower speak to that.
I'm Joe Hightower, Fire Chief of the City of Mount Dora. Yes, during the peak of the event last night, we did have multiple rescues in progress. Actually, here behind us was one, had several on Pine Avenue, and then in other parts of the city. Fortunately, we had no injuries or fatalities. Outside of just the rescues, that's all that we were able to do.
Can you describe what happened in that rescue behind us?
So the occupant was able to get out of the vehicle on their own prior to obviously the car going off the ravine. Walked out, and we went in to make sure that before the car did leave the road that there were no other occupants inside the vehicle to verify.
And then you removed the car today?
Yes, they had a company come in and to remove the car.
What was that like? What did it look like?
I was you here. I currently was not here. I've seen a few pictures. Probably just a normal, like they do on any accident scene.
Megan, would you mind speaking to Wolf Branch and how long it's looking like that road's, Commissioner Mayor saying a year about, give or take for this road, but for Wolf Branch too, that's a major thoroughfare in the county.
It is, and it's difficult to give a complete time frame of what that's going to look like. I can tell you we are currently working hand in hand with the Florida Division of Emergency Management. They are in my EOC right now, working with our local hydrologists and engineers on how we can better fix that road moving forward.
Is there any look at maybe like a temporary fix to that?
That I would not have an answer to at this time. It is an ongoing discussion that we're having as to what the best course of action is going to be moving forward.
Any advice that you have for the residents that will worry you for what can happen on the next days?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Any advice that you can bring to the residents that live close to here and will worry for what can happen on the next days?
Yeah, if we have additional rainfall today and we have additional high water situations, we're actually working on a solution to make sure that does not happen again for this particular event that we may be expecting to see this afternoon as we hear the thunder above us right now. So we are actively working on flood mitigation measures for that. And then moving forward, any advice to residents is just if there is high water coming onto your property or if you see it in your area and you're driving, definitely do not drive into that flood water. We don't want to see additional residents have to be rescued from their vehicles. So just shelter in place until you can't anymore, in which case call for a first responder to help you.
Is there any estimate with how many structures, either this could be a question for you or a question for Mayor, have seen water incursion? Is there any kind of an estimate, even just people driving around eyeballing?
I know for us, countywide, we are actively working on those damage assessment numbers. So we are encouraging residents, if they had water incursion and did not call our first response or dispatch agency at the time that it was occurring, they can now call our citizens information line until 7 p.m. tonight, and we are assessing the need for it further into the week as well. But as of right now, we are asking residents to give us a call if they did see that kind of damage to their homes, so that we can make a record of it and start that damage assessment process and get that information to the state as well.
Do you have that line, the phone line off the top of your head? Or?
It's 352-253-9999.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For those people living in Waterman Village that can't go home right now, any estimate on when they'll be able to return home?
No, we don't have an estimate because we don't have the engineering to determine when we can stabilize the banks. So, I mean, that's the first step. But hopefully we can save all the homes so they can return. But the timeline is out of our control right now. We got to figure out how to stabilize it.
And who's rehousing them? Is that Red Cross?
No, the Waterman Village.
Okay.
It's a private entity and all the homes there, so they're taking care of their residents. Around town, there's been several homes that have been water intrusion. As I was driving around Waterman Village up at the top of the hill on the other side, there was water flowing into homes. People had their carpets out, so we're not even close to getting a full assessment of how many homes were affected by this.
Mayor, where does the city go from here? A year without Donnelly, a year without businesses being impacted at historic downtown Mount Dora. Is this a sign that, our municipalities here in Central Florida need to take a really long, hard look at their infrastructure?
Well, I mean, this is something that we had planned for a boardwalk on the side that got washed out in Milton. and that was out for bids right now. That we pulled those bids because we got a whole new project we've got to bid. But we're working with Department of Transportation. There's a new access road, Fiddler. It's Grandview all the way to downtown and to the limit here. And we're trying to get a light up on 441 so that it can allow an alternate route into downtown. So I don't think it'll be that much of a problem getting around here. Luckily, we've got these new roads built that will allow people to go around the hole in the ground there.
Do you think you'll take a new approach when it comes to, you know, improving infrastructure and increasing resiliency here in Mount Dora?
Well, I mean, we're always looking at that, but I mean, this is going to take a whole new redesign in order to deal with it. It's a very wet area. There's spring, there's all sorts of water issues, but to say what we need to do right now is beyond me. You may see a bridge here in a couple of years. I don't know. So.
When the sun came up this morning and you were able to see this really for the first time, what was your reaction?
After seeing the rainfall, it didn't surprise me too much. I mean, you're going to get washouts, but it was a bit shocking. Having, like I said, when I was here at 10 years old in 1970, we used to, this was the one big hill in the area. So, but all the water obviously went right down there and started to, just too much water. You can't plan for a 1,000-year flood.
I do have a question for Chief Gibson, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
A lot of road closures here in Mount Dora throughout Lake County. What's the police department's plan to keep people safe, to keep traffic moving? I mean, just getting around from one end of Wolf Branch to the other where the closure is. Can't use 46 right now. Hopefully that's going to dry up. But it took an extra 21 minutes.
Sure, absolutely. For those that don't know who I am, my name's Mike Gibson. I'm the police chief here at the city of Mount Dora. To your point, let me clear up one other thing. Mount Dora is open for business. There are 20 other access points, ways to get into the city. Of course, this is a primary road. It's devastating. We need to get it open, but there are plenty of other areas to come into Mount Dora. We're working the plan right now. We've already come up with some tentative plans to route all the traffic on Mount Dora, down Fiddler to Grandview, right into downtown Mount Dora. So they're not easy fixes. It's a lot of traffic on smaller roadways, but we're going to do it. We'll get the job done. So just remember, Mount Dora is open for business.
Yep. Well, if there's no further questions, we'll wrap this up. And if any of our residents have any problem with any flood intrusion, make sure they call the city, let us know about it. We're still assessing damage, and there's other pockets that we need to assess. So just a word out to.
One question for Randy. What kind of federal aid might be coming?
The question is what kind of federal aid might be coming. The answer is nothing until the Democrats reopen the government. I mean that's the sad truth.
I mean, you talked about the federal flood insurance.
Sure, I think the governor has to make a decision about whether he declares a disaster area. The federal government will look at that, but we'll be doing what we can. And I think we've already been making those communications today so that we can help. Sorry?
You haven't heard from the governor yet about what he's going to do?
No, I have not.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, you good? Thanks.
All right, let's wrap this up. Thanks you all for coming.
Officials with the city of Mount Dora, Lake County, you see